Joining me now is the newest member of the U.S. House of Representatives, at least for a couple more weeks, the Democratic Congressman from Virginia, James Walkinshaw. Congressman, first of all, congrats on your win. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about this government funding deadline. You, as much as any member of Congress, uniquely feel this because of the preponderance of federal workers that you have in your district. How serious should we be taking this threat, and what can possibly be done to avoid it?
Well, I think we should take it very seriously. You know, in the House, Republicans rammed through a partisan spending bill. They refused to address the looming health care crisis, and then they skipped town. And now we learned today that Speaker Johnson discouraged President Trump from even meeting with Democratic leaders to discuss the possibility of a bipartisan approach to this, which is what the American people want. So I hope we can avoid the shutdown, but at this moment, things don't look good.
Republicans are arguing this is just a 7-week stopgap, that it's largely clean, as the definition that they use on Capitol Hill. Wouldn't that benefit your constituents the most, to give 7 more weeks to hash out some of these disagreements that you have with Republicans and pass the full appropriations bills, as opposed to shutting the government down now?
2 points that I'll make. One, the healthcare crisis is urgent. I was visiting a community health clinic in my district earlier today, and they are preparing now for the possibility of huge numbers of newly uninsured folks coming in to try to get care because of the skyrocketing ACA premiums we're about to see. Those notices are going out. Second point, for the folks that I represent in Northern Virginia, many of them, Donald Trump has already shut down parts of the federal government. USAID shut down, Department of Education shut down, CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, effectively shut down. So this is kind of a Trump shutdown part 2. We've been experiencing Trump shutdown part 1 for the last 9 months.
And so what is a win? What do you want out of these negotiations? Is it just the ACA subsidies? Do you want to restore the cuts to Medicaid that went through in the funding package or the reconciliation package over the summer? It seems as though there isn't a consistent message right now from Democrats as to what it would take to agree to at least a 7-week extension of government funding.
Well, Democrats have put forward an alternative that includes the extension of the Affordable Care Act premium subsidies to prevent those skyrocketing increases, restores the $1 trillion cut to Medicaid that will kick millions of people off their health care coverage, ensures that the Trump administration actually follows through and implements the programs that the bill funds. So we put forward a proposal, and that's why there needs to be a meeting. President Trump needs to sit down and meet with Democrats to try to reach a compromise. He's been unwilling to do that.
Okay, let's talk about your early days here in Congress. You have been appointed to a very powerful committee, the Oversight Committee. Your mentor, Jerry Connolly, was once the ranking member of that committee. You've been investigating the handling of the Epstein case. That's been a big focus of the committee right now. The former Labor Secretary, Alex Acosta, testified before the committee on Friday. First, tell me your response to what you heard from that interview, and what more should we expect from your committee?
What I heard in that interview, and I participated in more than an hour of the interview with Mr. Acosta, it's consistent with what we've seen from Trump and his allies in Congress and Mr. Acosta throughout this Epstein saga. Callous disregard, in my view, for the victims, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. Mr. Acosta showed no remorse for the sweetheart deal that he signed off on for Jeffrey Epstein that allowed Epstein to continue raping and abusing women and girls. And it was deeply, deeply troubling to me. I also find it very hard to believe that after he signed off on that deal, years later, Donald Trump made him his labor secretary. And Trump knew about that deal when he made him his labor secretary. Of all the Republicans on the planet, Donald Trump could have named labor secretary. He picked the guy who gave Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal. Why?
Yeah. But the Republicans are critical of the way the minority members like yourself have handled this investigation, because they feel like you've focused too much on Donald Trump and not enough on the victims and seeking justice. How would you respond to that criticism?
Well, look, I think there's a lot to learn about Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein and his role here. And there's a very easy solution. And I've said this, Chairman Comer, go down to the floor and sign the discharge petition to release the files. And if Trump isn't implicated, if he's barely mentioned, no problem, we can all move on. Why is Trump preventing Republicans, preventing his administration from releasing the full files?
And it looks like you're close to having that discharge petition at least make it to the floor. You've signed it already. It was one of your first acts as a member of Congress. Democrats feel like their chances are good in a special election tonight in Arizona. Is there the possibility, though, that there really isn't any more information in these files, that even if they were to be all released, that you maybe wouldn't get the answers that you're looking for? What else needs to be done?
Well, here's what we know. There are survivors out there who still haven't had the opportunity to fully tell their story. We've heard that from some of them, so that opportunity needs to be afforded to them. I think there are still a lot of unanswered questions. And again, I come back to why is Trump not allowing his administration to release files? If what you're saying is true, and perhaps it is, why not release the files?
Yeah.
He hasn't.
All right, let's not talk about another interview that was before your committee last week, and that's the former Biden Chief of Staff, Jeff Zients. Sources tell me that Zients testified that President Biden's decision-making had slowed. His memory was getting worse. What did you make of that testimony, and did it concern you at all about the last parts of President Biden's presidency?
Well, look, I have deep respect for President Biden and his service to the nation. But Joe Biden is on a beach in Delaware or at his beach house in Delaware right now. Donald Trump is the 79-year-old president of the United States that I'm deeply concerned about. I wasn't in Congress in 2024. I think clearly President Biden should have stepped aside from the race sooner. But right now, Donald Trump is the president. I'm concerned about his capacity and his ability to do the job when he won't even meet with congressional leaders.
Do you think Democrats have reconciled that part of the Biden presidency enough, though? And do you feel as though there's enough of an effort by Democrats to pass the baton to the next generation? I know would be a younger member of Congress, but do you think the party's doing that enough, especially ahead of these 2026 midterms?
I can tell you, as I joined the House Democratic Caucus 10 or 11 days ago, I've been very pleasantly surprised by the new generations of leadership that we have. You know, Hakeem Jeffries represents a new generation of leadership. On our committee, the Oversight Committee, ranking member Robert Garcia. We have a lot of dynamic young leaders in the House Democratic Caucus. So I think we're making that shift. We've made that shift, and it will continue. Okay.
Congressman James Walkinshaw, very soon on the job, already on the set of Meet the Press. You're doing very well. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
All right.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.